Daniel sank into the worn leather booth, his shoulders heavy from another long day at work. His hands were rough, his shirt collar a little wrinkled, but across from him sat the reason he pushed through it all, his little daughter, eyes wide with excitement. The restaurant was nothing fancy, just a small neighborhood spot with the smell of grilled food drifting from the kitchen and a jukebox humming softly in the background. To most people, it was ordinary. To her, it was an adventure. He studied the menu carefully, knowing his wallet was thin. Every dollar had to stretch, yet tonight wasn't about him, it was about giving her a memory. He ordered just enough for them to share, a small burger, fries, and a milkshake with 2 straws. When the food arrived, her laughter filled the air as she tried sipping from both straws at once, ketchup smudged across her chin. Daniel chuckled, the sound easing the tension in his chest. In those moments, he forgot the overdue bills, the exhaustion of working 2 jobs, the loneliness of being a single father. All he saw was her joy, and it made every sacrifice worth it. He leaned closer, brushing a crumb from her cheek, his heart swelling at how much she looked like her mother. For everyone else, this was just another family dinner in a corner booth. But for Daniel, it was everything, a reminder that even in the struggle, love could make the simplest meal feel like a feast. Daniel was mid-laugh, watching his daughter dip a fry into the milkshake just to see his reaction, when the sound of raised voices cut through the warm bubble around their table. At first, he tried to ignore it, restaurants often had noise, after all, but this was different. The sharp scrape of chairs against the floor made heads turn. 3 men stood over a well-dressed man at the center of the room, their postures aggressive, their voices filled with threat. The man. Clearly someone important by the look of his tailored suit and polished shoes, tried to speak calmly, but the fear in his eyes betrayed him. Dishes clattered as a server stumbled backward, too afraid to get close. A few families hurried their kids outside, others froze in their seats, whispering nervously. Daniel instinctively pulled his daughter closer, wrapping an arm around her small shoulders. She buried her face into his side, sensing the danger even if she didn't fully understand it. His first thought was to keep her safe, to shield her from whatever was about to unfold. But as the tension escalated, Daniel's gaze stayed locked on the 3 men surrounding their target. He could see it in their movements, they weren't just trying to scare him. They meant harm. His chest tightened as he held his daughter closer, her small hand gripping his shirt. For years he had lived quietly, hiding the part of himself that once thrived in chaos. But tonight, in this modest restaurant, danger had walked straight into his world, and he knew he couldn't just sit still. Daniel's pulse quickened as the situation spiraled. The 3 men shoved the well-dressed stranger against the wall, voices growing sharper, fists clenched. The restaurant had gone silent except for the crash of a glass hitting the floor. His daughter clung to his arm, her small body trembling, and he knew he had to make a choice. Every instinct screamed at him to keep her hidden, to wait for someone else to step in. But looking around, he saw only fear, servers frozen, families retreating, no one willing to move. He bent down to his daughter's level, his voice steady though his heart pounded. "Stay here, sweetheart. Don't move, no matter what," he whispered, brushing her hair back gently. She nodded, wide-eyed, trusting him completely. That trust gave him courage. Daniel rose to his feet and stepped into the open space, his posture calm but deliberate. For years, he had buried the discipline of martial arts, a skill he once trained in before life demanded other sacrifices. But in this moment, those instincts returned like an old friend. As one of the attackers lunged toward the man in the suit, Daniel intercepted, his movements precise and controlled. A swift block, a calculated strike, within seconds, the aggressor stumbled backward in shock. The other 2 turned on him, but Daniel's stance didn't waver. The crowd gasped as they realized this wasn't just a tired single dad, this was someone trained, someone capable. For his daughter's sake, and for the stranger's life, Daniel had stepped out of the shadows. Tonight, his hidden skill was no longer hidden. The wail of sirens grew louder outside as Daniel pinned the last attacker with a swift, practiced move. Moments later, police officers stormed into the restaurant, taking control and leading the three men away in handcuffs. The danger had passed, but the room remained hushed, every eye fixed on Daniel. He stood there, chest rising and falling, his daughter now clinging to his side once again. He kissed the top of her head, relief washing over him. To him, he had simply done what any father would, protect his child. But to the man in the tailored suit, it was much more. Straightening his jacket, the man approached, his expression filled not with pride but with raw gratitude. His voice trembled as he extended his hand. "You didn't just protect me, you saved me," he said. Daniel hesitated, then shook his hand firmly. "I only did what I had to, for my little girl, and for everyone here." The man studied him for a long moment. He wasn't used to people turning down attention or reward, yet Daniel's humility was unshakable. In his eyes, Daniel wasn't just a fighter, he was a protector, a man who carried strength and heart in equal measure. As the crowd slowly returned to normal, whispers filled the air. Words like hero and bravery. Daniel felt out of place, almost embarrassed, but when he looked down and saw the pride glowing in his daughter's eyes, he realized that the only recognition he needed was right there, holding his hand.